Hey, I know you're in there. Come out. Bang, bang. The front door of my parents' home is being pounded on furiously. After being cheated on by my ex-husband, Jameson, I had divorced him and came back to my parents' home. Jameson showed up unannounced and completely unconcerned about being a nuisance to the neighborhood. Can you believe how much money I've spent on you? The trips, meals, even the living expenses since we got married, all came out of my hard-earned money. If you're talking about divorce, then how about returning all the money I've spent on you? What you're doing is just like racking up debt. He rants as if he's the victim. All I can do is sigh. All right, fine. Come inside for now, I said, opening the door with a look of resignation, and there he stands, smirking, as if he's won. Gotcha. I'm the one who should really be smirking. Jameson wouldn't even realize he had stepped into a big trap. My name is Lydia. I used to work as an office worker, and I got along well with a colleague, Jameson. We hit it off at an office party and ended up getting married. The following year, I became pregnant and decided to take maternity leave. Lydia, congratulations. Please let me know when the baby arrives. Gabriella, my team member, gleamed with excitement, gifting me a charm for a safe childbirth. It's great news, but I'm sad I won't be getting guidance from you anymore, Lydia. Don't worry, Jameson will be your new boss. He's even better at the job than I am. Gabriella's boss was to be Jameson. Jameson already had a female employee, Sarah, under him, but he was higher in position than me and had more trust from the company. I felt confident leaving in his hands. As Gabriella exaggerated her sadness, I left the company I had grown so fond of. And thus began my maternity leave. Our house, quite a distance from my parents' home in a different state, made frequent visits to my family challenging. Preferring to avoid long train rides, I chose to focus on my maternity leave at home. This house was a wedding gift from my father, a doctor in our local town, who was quite well off financially. He bought us this house, knowing we were just starting out and didn't have much money. As our family was expected to grow, he spared no expense in building a spacious house and covering all the land costs. I couldn't be more grateful to my father. For a while, Jameson and I felt indebted to my father. To repay him, especially since our income reduced during my maternity leave, Jameson started working harder and coming home later and later each day. Despite our company normally allowing employees to leave on time, recently, he had been returning hours later. How's work going? You've been coming home late, but you're not overdoing it, right? I'm fine. It's my duty to work hard for you and our baby. This is nothing. Despite the late hours, Jameson seemed unfazed and even happy. I have to take care of my team and my own work, so I'm short on time. I might even have to stay overnight at the office, but don't worry, I'm managing my health. Just focus on our baby. He reassured me, gently rubbing my belly as usual. I had believed in that smile. I was completely trusting. It was when my belly had grown significantly heavier that cracks started appearing in my trust for Jameson, who had been the ideal husband. Lydia, it's been a while. How about we grab some coffee sometime? One weekend, I got an invitation from Gabriella. My morning sickness had settled down, so I eagerly agreed to meet her and started getting ready, despite my big belly. An hour later, Gabriella came over to visit. She was overjoyed at the sight of my belly, but then she said something odd. It's amazing how big you've gotten. To think that you, who always had been skinny, would change like this because of a baby. It's my first pregnancy, so it's a surprise every day. Thanks for coming all this way. Jameson's out, so make yourself comfortable. Yay, I know, Gabriella said, aware that Jameson wasn't home. Her expression darkened a bit, even though she had been smiling just a moment ago. Actually, there's something I need to tell you, without Jameson finding out. Her serious demeanor made me nervous as I invited her into the room. Sipping on slightly lukewarm cocoa, Gabriella began to speak softly. I was hesitant to say this, but I felt you needed to know, and that's why I came today. You're scaring me with that serious face. If you're hesitating, it must be something important, right? Tell me. After a pause, Gabriella looked me in the eyes. Jameson is having an affair. It took me a few seconds of silence to comprehend her words. Wait, what do you mean? As I was confused, Gabriella simply explained what she had seen recently. It started with feeling something was off about Jameson's behavior. He has a team member named Sarah, and his physical interactions with her were excessive. Touching her hand, grabbing her shoulder, sometimes even touching her backside, clearly beyond the bounds of normal behavior. At first, Gabriella thought it was just harassment and asked Sarah if she was okay, but Sarah's response was unexpected. "It's not harassment. I'm happy when Jameson touches me. Besides, we're in love, so it doesn't matter, right?" I was shocked to hear this, especially since Sarah knew about me. "But Jameson is married and has a child on the way, you know that, right?" "I know. But Jameson said he doesn't want the child. He said he's losing his attraction to his wife and wants to break up as soon as possible." With that, Sarah left. The happiness of my married life made this hard to believe. But I knew Gabriella wouldn't joke about such a thing. "Thanks for telling me. I trust you. But I also trust Jameson, so I'll look into it myself. Can you keep what you told me today just between us?" After Gabriella left, I immediately hired a private investigator to look into Jameson's affair. The results were damning. The investigator sent photos of Jameson and Sarah dining together and kissing. Seeing those, my feelings for Jameson cooled instantly. Crying, I reported this to my parents, and my father got furious. Infidelity is unforgivable, especially with a child on the way. It's outrageous. "I'm coming over, Lydia. Get ready to leave." True to his word, my father came early the next morning to pick me up, before Jameson left for work. We ran into each other at the front door. "Oh, good morning, but why are you here?" "There's no why about it. I can't stand men like you. I'm taking my daughter. We're selling this house and the land, so you need to leave today." "What do you mean? What's going on?" "Lydia, explain." I couldn't bring myself to say a word to Jameson. I left the house, entrusting my father with my large luggage. The commotion quickly spread to the company, and by noon, Gabriella contacted me. She was worried it was her fault, but I was actually grateful to her. "Thanks to you, I was able to divorce that cheating man." "I'm actually grateful. But Jameson is taking some personal days off starting tomorrow. He'll probably come to your place. What should I do?" "The security at my parents' house is top-notch, and my father is there too. There's nothing to worry about really, but actually, could you do me a favor?" I asked her, seeking some information to get the better of Jameson. "Thanks. With this, I can get my revenge." Ending the call with a smile, my father, who was driving, looked at me curiously. "What's with the sudden good mood? Jameson might show up at our place tomorrow." I thought I'd give him a warm welcome. I was no longer sad. I was ready to give back everything I had been deceived of. As Gabriella predicted, Jameson showed up at my parents' house the next day. "Lydia, I know you're there. Come out. It's all a misunderstanding." There he was, red-faced with anger. "I don't know who's been filling your head, but I haven't done anything to deserve being thrown out like this. Can you honestly say you've done nothing wrong?" "Of course, I don't mind being punched by your father. I just want to tell the truth. I just couldn't stand Jameson's honest-looking eyes, which made everyone want to believe in him. I had evidence. This was just a farce." "Fine. Come inside. Let's talk in front of my father and clear up any misunderstandings." "All right." I led Jameson to a back room. "I forgot to mention, we have a guest. Say hello, will you?" In the room, my father was already seated. And there is Sarah, sitting right in front of my father. I had gotten Sarah's contact information from Gabriella. When I told Shrara that I wanted to talk something about Jameson, she even bothered to come. Impressive initiative, but it turned out to be quite disadvantageous for Jameson. Jameson's face turned pale as he saw Sarah. "She also wants to talk to me. But I'm busy, so listen to her together." Seeing a speechless Jameson, Sarah started tremblingly. "Jameson and I have been in a relationship for a long time. I knew he was married to you, Lydia. But he told me he loved me. He's such a kind man. It's unfair that everything is taken from him. Can't you at least leave the house to Jameson?" "Sarah, what nonsense are you spouting?" Jameson glared at her, replying disdainfully. "Don't drag me into your delusions. I've been bothered by your misunderstanding for a long time. To come here and lie like this, Enraged, Jameson pushed Sarah away and approached me. I'd been troubled by her too. She probably misinterpreted my guidance as a manager for something else. I was wondering when to talk to you about it. That's awful. You were the one who approached me, Sarah said, stunned. As Jameson rambled, I pulled out a few photos from my pocket. The private investigator had captured Jameson and Sarah in the act. Is this part of your guidance as a manager? Hugging and kissing. Where did you get those photos? It's not just photos. There's a video too. Shall I play it here? Jameson, lost for words, turned to Sarah, but she no longer showed any intention to defend him. This is the worst. You even brought Sarah here, prepared these photos. Was this all your plan? I just uncovered your wrongdoings. It's your fault. I'll be filing for compensation soon. Now, please leave. No way. Do you know how much I've spent in travel expenses to get here? Jameson started to whine like a child. Yeah, remember all the times I paid for our dates, our meals, even the birthday gifts I gave you weren't cheap. I even paid for your trips home. To break up after spending so much is a betrayal. You cheated first, and now you're talking about betrayal. I was just speechless with astonishment. And about the house, it's marital property, so it should be split. Selling it the loft is just tyranny. It can't be done. Don't you feel sorry for me? Don't you have a heart? What are you talking about? Asking for the money back for dates? That's pathetic. It's just a few $1,000s in total. Besides, that house isn't yours or Lydia's, that's mine. I let you use it. So, the rights to it belong to me, not to you or Lydia. And I sure don't want to hear about compassion from a self-centered cheater like you. Shut up. This is a matter between a husband and wife. Don't interfere. Jameson lunged at my father, but my father easily flipped him over and pinned him down. My father has been practicing judo since he was young and could easily pin down someone like Jameson. If you keep making a scene, I'll call the cops. If you don't like that, then just get out of here. At my father's command, Sarah and Jameson left crying. Their pathetic retreat was hard to watch. I then filed a claim for compensation for Sarah and Jameson. They both ended up with a debt of about $20,000 each. And since I submitted proof of their affair to the company, their fake overtime for affairs was discovered. They were billed for the improper overtime, putting them in a tough spot. Jameson was demoted and viewed coldly by his colleagues, making his workplace uncomfortable. Sarah felt the same unease, and both seemed to have resigned soon after. I don't know what Sarah is up to, but Gabriella told me she saw Jameson working part-time at a nearby convenience store. Thanks to you, I'm glad I didn't have to raise a child with such a man. Thank you. Not at all. I'm sad you moved far away, but can I visit you this holiday season? Of course, come over. By then, the baby should be born. As we talked, the baby kicked in my belly. This child being healthy is my happiness now. Despite the big incident, I managed to protect what's important to me. Now, I'm waiting for the birth, living in my parents' big house.